Darkness envelops the small town of Millfield, a place where whispers ride the wind and secrets linger in every shadow. As I crossed its forgotten streets, I had no idea what was waiting for me. Some say that the town is cursed, a refuge for lost souls who can never leave. What I found was far more terrifying than I ever imagined. Before we dive into this tale, I must clarify. Certain names and locations have been changed to protect those involved, but the events you're about to hear are based on true, inexplicable occurrences. What you're about to experience is a journey through the unknown, where reality blurs and whispers echo. Are you ready? Millfield was not my intended destination. I had taken a wrong turn during a storm and found myself drawn into the heart of this eerie town. Rain battered my windshield as I passed old crumbling buildings, their windows dark and hollow, like the eyes of a forgotten beast. The streets, slick with rain, glistened ominously under the faint glow of the streetlights. I could feel something, a sense of foreboding creeping up my spine. As I parked my car near an abandoned diner, I felt the silence settle around me like a thick fog. My breath quickened, and a strange unease filled the air. It was just a town, I reassured myself, but deep down I knew there was more here. Something darker. The diner, named Mabel's Place, stood in stark contrast to the ominous sky, a relic of a bygone era. Its neon sign flickered erratically, casting a ghostly light over the cracked pavement. I stepped inside, the door creaking loudly, the sound echoing in the stillness. Dust motes danced in the air, illuminated by the dim overhead lights. Tables were overturned and chairs lay strewn about as if an invisible storm had swept through. The walls were adorned with faded photographs of smiling patrons, their laughter seemingly trapped in time. I shivered at the thought of those smiles, frozen in this place that had long been abandoned. My heart raced as I explored deeper into the diner, feeling the weight of the air shift around me, heavy with secrets waiting to be uncovered. Just as I was about to leave, a low whisper echoed through the empty diner. "Help me." I froze, my breath hitching in my throat. I strained to listen, but the sound faded as quickly as it had come. Was it my imagination? I shook my head, dismissing it as fatigue from my drive. Yet, the hairs on my neck stood on end, and an inexplicable chill ran through me. Outside, raindrops began to fall again, pattering against the roof like frantic whispers. I stepped back outside, hoping fresh air would dispel the uneasy feeling settling deep within me. As I turned to my car, I noticed something odd. A figure stood at the edge of the street, cloaked in shadows. It seemed to sway slightly, almost like a wisp of smoke. My heart raced, but before I could approach, the figure vanished. "Just a trick of the light," I muttered to myself, trying to shake off the fear gripping my heart. But the whisper lingered, an echo of something I was yet to understand. With the storm still raging, I sought refuge in the nearby hotel, an old, dilapidated structure known as the Millfield Inn. The wooden sign creaked as I pushed through the front doors, and the musty smell of decay enveloped me. The lobby was dimly lit, and the wallpaper peeled away, revealing the dry, cracked wood beneath. "Welcome to Millfield Inn," a voice greeted me, and I turned to find an elderly woman behind the desk, her eyes gleaming with a knowing glint. "Not many travelers come through here anymore." "Just passing through," I replied, though I could feel the weight of her gaze. She studied me for a moment, her expression inscrutable, before handing me a key with a worn tag that read Room 7. As I climbed the creaking staircase, I felt an unsettling chill in the air. The walls whispered secrets, and shadows flickered just out of my line of sight. Room 7 was at the end of the hallway, and as I entered, I felt a shiver of anticipation and dread. The room was small, with a single bed and a dusty dresser. The window overlooked the darkened street, rain cascading down the glass like tears. I tossed my bag onto the bed and made my way to the window. Outside, the streetlights flickered, and for a moment I thought I saw that same shadowy figure again, standing still in the rain, watching me. But when I blinked, it was gone. As I prepared for bed, I heard soft whispers again, this time clearer, surrounding me like a shroud. "Help us. Find us." They echoed through the room, chilling my blood. I hurried to shut the window, convinced the wind was playing tricks on my mind. I laid in bed, staring at the ceiling as the whispers intensified, growing louder until they became a cacophony. I covered my ears, but the sound seeped through my fingers, drowning my thoughts. I could feel something in the room with me, a presence that made my skin crawl. The air grew colder, and I felt a pressure on my chest, like an invisible weight pressing down on me. In a panic, I jumped out of bed and turned on my phone's flashlight, illuminating the room. My heart raced as I scanned the corners, half expecting to see someone lurking there. The beam of light caught a glint of something under the bed, a small, dusty journal. I pulled it out, my hands trembling as I opened it to the first page. It was filled with frantic scrawls. "They won't let me go. I see them in the shadows." I felt a rush of dread wash over me as the whispers grew louder. "Help us!" they cried, reverberating through the room. I slammed the journal shut and tossed it aside, desperately trying to shake the unease that gripped my heart. The next morning, I decided to explore the town in daylight, hoping to quell the unease that lingered. The rain had ceased, leaving the streets glistening and reflecting the gray sky. As I walked through the main square, I noticed several townsfolk who eyed me with suspicion, their faces etched with fear. It felt like I had stepped into a forgotten time, where whispers of the past haunted every corner. I approached a small cafe, hoping for a hot cup of coffee. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with tension, and the patrons whispered among themselves, casting wary glances my way. I took a seat at the counter, and the barista, a middle-aged man with weary eyes, noticed my presence. "You shouldn't be here," he warned, wiping his hands on a dish towel. "This town isn't safe for strangers." "What do you mean?" I asked, confusion gripping me. "I just got lost." He hesitated, glancing around as if ensuring no one was eavesdropping. "People come here looking for something, but they never leave. There's something in the shadows, something that takes. If you hear whispers, you need to leave." His words sent a shiver down my spine, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was meant to uncover the truth. I had come too far to turn back now. But as I left the cafe, I couldn't ignore the growing sense of dread that clung to me like a shroud. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I returned to the Millfield Inn, my mind racing with thoughts of the journal and the whispers. I resolved to confront whatever lay hidden in the shadows. But as I entered my room, I found the journal opened on the bed, the pages flipping as if stirred by an unseen hand. My heart raced as I felt an icy breeze swirl around me, and the whispers intensified, surrounding me. "Help us," they cried, reverberating through the room. I stumbled backward, colliding with the dresser as I tried to escape her grasp. "You must find the truth." In that moment, I realized she was one of the lost souls, trapped within the town's dark history. The echoes of despair filled my mind as I ran to the door, fumbling with the handle, desperate to escape the horror that threatened to consume me. The whispers grew louder, intertwining with my thoughts, urging me to find a way to set them free. I burst into the hallway, heart pounding in my chest as I fled the inn. I needed to uncover the truth behind Millfield's haunting. I ran through the streets, feeling the eyes of the townsfolk on me, their expressions a mix of pity and fear. I had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, but a piece of it remained within me. I left Millfield that day, knowing that its secrets would always linger, waiting for someone else to uncover them. Desperate, I made my way back to the diner, recalling the journal's frantic scribbles. There had to be answers buried within the town's history. I rummaged through the diner's remnants, searching for clues. The atmosphere grew heavier with each passing moment, shadows creeping closer as I unearthed old newspaper clippings about disappearances and ghost sightings. As I pieced together the fragments of Millfield's past, I realized that a dark ritual had taken place in the town years ago. Sacrifices made to appease a malevolent force. The whispers belonged to those who had fallen victim, their souls forever trapped in the echoes of despair. I could feel their presence, urging me to continue my search, to break the curse that bound them. Suddenly, a shadow darted past me, and I turned to see the cloaked figure standing in the corner of the diner. It pointed toward the old church at the edge of town, its steeple looming like a finger pointing toward the heavens. "The truth lies within," a voice whispered, echoing the cries of the lost souls. With newfound determination, I raced toward the church, the whispers growing louder with every step. I felt their presence guiding me, their despair urging me to uncover the truth. As I entered the church, I was met with an oppressive silence. broken only by the soft creaking of the ancient wood beneath my feet. Inside, the air was thick with dust and memories. I approached the altar where a faded journal lay open, its pages yellowed with age. It detailed the town's dark history, stories of sacrifice and darkness that had plagued Millfield for generations. My heart raced as I read the words, realizing that the final ritual had never been completed. The souls were trapped, waiting for someone to free them. As I finished reading, the shadows began to swirl around me, and the whispers grew frantic. "Help us!" they cried. I knew what I had to do. I gathered the strength to confront the darkness, to perform the ritual that would set them free. With trembling hands, I recited the words from the journal, pouring my heart into each syllable. The shadows twisted and turned, and the whispers transformed into anguished wails as the spirits began to rise, swirling around me in a tempest of despair and hope. I could feel their pain, their longing for freedom. "Let them go," I shouted, my voice echoing through the church. The air crackled with energy as the spirits surged, breaking the bonds that held them captive. The shadows shrieked, and the church filled with blinding light. But just as quickly as it had begun, the light faded, leaving me gasping for breath. The whispers subsided, replaced by a haunting silence. I fell to my knees, exhausted, but a sense of peace washed over me. I had freed them, set their souls adrift. Yet as I looked around, the shadows returned, lingering at the edges of my vision. I had broken the curse, but the town still felt alive, still held secrets that remained unexplored. Millfield was forever changed, but so was I. The experience would haunt me, a reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of reality. As I made my way out of the church, the townsfolk watched, their expressions transformed, some relieved, others still shrouded in fear. I had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, but a piece of it remained within me. I left Millfield that day, knowing that its secrets would always linger, waiting for someone else to uncover them. What do you think? Have you ever experienced something unexplainable? A whisper that lingered long after the encounter? Share your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more chilling tales from haunting chapters. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. While certain details may have been altered, the core of this experience remains true. It's up to you to decide whether you believe in the unexplained, but keep in mind, we often fear what we cannot fully understand. Remember, not everything can be rationalized away.